Welcome to the Fire Rescue Wellness Podcast Spotlight, where we revisit take-home messages and shine a light on previous FRW podcasts in 10 minutes or less. I'm Lex, AZ's right and left-hand woman, and I churn out these mini episodes for her. Let's go.
I was telling Dr. Stout, I'm like, man, this is like the most boring PowerPoint ever put together. It's just boring stuff. He's like, yeah, but you know what? ACSM has never had a talk on supplements. And so Jeff gave the history of it, like, someone started taking supplements back in the old Greek and Roman days, stuff like that. It's like, oh boy, people are going to be really bored, And then I talked about like creatine and vitamin C and some other, I was like, my God, they're going to be really bored because how would I say it? We stuck to the facts without telling a story. And I think that's a mistake a lot of scientists make. They don't tell a story because there's always a story behind all of this. If you just stick to the facts, I call that bullet point lecturing. It's like, here are the bullet points, here are the facts. And I'm like, okay, you really bored me now. I don't need bullet points. I could look up bullet points. But anyways, at the end of that lecture, we were attacked, like verbally attacked. And remember, this is before social media. So imagine if social media was, God, there'd be like videos of this stuff. But it was one of the most interesting things where people literally went up to the microphones and started attacking us personally, not scientifically, personally, like, oh, you guys, you shouldn't be here giving a lecture on sports supplements. This is all a bunch of hogwash, and just on and on. And Jeff's like, holy crap, what just happened here? They're like mad at us. And I'm like, yeah, it's funny. You present science and people get mad at you. I mean, but that happens. It happens. But that's not even the worst thing that happened. And you're gonna die when you hear something worse.
Oh no! What is it?
The current president of the American College of Sports Medicine at the time, we happened to run into her at some cocktail party. We're like, oh, let's have a beer, blah blah blah. And she came up to us and she said this, and I remember it vividly because I'm like, I can't believe she just said that. She said to both of us, if you want to have a career, you don't want to do any research in supplements. And I think Jeff was like, whoa, did she just say don't do research? I'm like, she said don't do research. And I was like, whoa, what? Don't do research? Wait, I thought that's what our job is, to do research. Even if you don't like the area, doing research is the only way to come up with answers. So that really shocked me. I was like, oh, I can't believe what I'm hearing. Now, it's not like this viewpoint was unique. A lot of people thought that. It wasn't just her. A lot of people. And in fact, that really was a big falling out for me. I was like, God, the American College of Sports Medicine, the culture of it is just so odd to me. It was like very narrow-minded at the time. And it's changed, that was like 20-something years ago. And it's changed where now you can actually give a talk on, creatine or something. But at the time, nobody wanted, the idea of imagine this, the idea of an academic nonprofit holding conferences just on sports nutrition was laughed at, and not just by ACSM. Also the ADA, the American Dietetics Association, they're now called the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. They clearly were not fans of this. So the idea, it was just weird. I'm like, wait a minute, isn't science the way you answer this stuff? Not making personal attacks or just saying this field is bullshit. You got to embrace science. And to me, the biggest mistake people make, not just scientists, but people in general, is they sort of go into this ideological camp where they have a preconceived notion about a field. And I'm a big fan of, hey, it's always going to be skeptical, but you also got to be curious. I mean, if you're not curious, then you're no longer thinking scientifically. And so that whole thing, I mean, this was 20-something years ago. It's like, wow, but imagine how much things have changed. You go to ISSN conference and they talk about nutrition, sports nutrition, supplements. It's to you and I, it's like, oh, it's normal. But you got to remember, you go back to the 1990s, that was not normal. People talking about this stuff at a conference was kind of frowned upon. So yeah, it's it's been an interesting, past 30 years, you might say, but I've enjoyed it. Hey, I don't mind being the villain every now and then.
I love it. And it's interesting. I talk a lot about the ISSN because, A, it's one big family. I feel like I just have family members across the country and across the world. But the second thing, I say this all the time, the people that present at the ISSN conference are the most dynamic and interesting speakers. And I think now I understand why. Because we don't stick to the facts without telling a story. We always tell the story during the presentation. You have just put a label on what I have always inherently understood.
Yeah, and it's good that you understand that, but, I always ask people, hey, what other, when they say, hey, I want to go to the ISSN conference, first thing I ask is, well, have you been to other science conferences? And, whether it's a yes or no answer, I tell people, well, this is a little
sure
different.
Is.
Not different bad, but different, like interesting and not your typical science conference. Like, for instance, I think the most boring science conference I ever went to, this is when I was a grad student, was the Endocrine Society. And I'm like, what, I kind of like endocrinology and exercise. Let's, I'm going to go to it. And I was so bored. I was like, oh my God, this is so boring. I mean, I call it bullet point science. I'm like, okay, well, thanks for telling me facts while telling me the most boring story ever. I hate to say it, I need a story. And maybe, do you and I have like short attention spans and we need, hey, tell me a story, please. Or are we supposed to be happy with hearing bullet point facts? And I can't, when someone bullet points me to death, I'm like, I can't deal with this. So, and when you look at other, just look at the podcast category. Why do people listen to podcasts? It's really to be entertained. It's like, hey, that was kind of interesting. Oh, and I learned something too. So that combination of telling the story and giving information is I'd say it's not natural for a lot of people. I think they have to learn it. And I remember the first time when I was a grad student when my advisor said, well, you got to tell a story. And I'm thinking, what is this, like Aesop's fable? I got to tell a story? I didn't know what that meant at the time. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll figure that out. Not sure what it means, but you get the gist. I mean, you're right. The community, the family of people who go to the conference, I mean, I don't know anyone who's like, for instance, I tell people, nobody's stuck up. Everyone will be happy to sit down with you and talk to you about whatever, about training, about nutrition, about supplements. And there aren't these gigantic egos that you might see at other conferences. And that's a huge thing. I mean, there's some big egos. It's some of these bigger events. It's like, oh my God, you guys are so full of yourself. Come on, we're not curing cancer here. Come on, this isn't rocket science. We're not like shooting a rocket up into space. Come on.
That is hilarious. Well, and this also speaks to the way that I like to educate people in my stratosphere, whether it's on my social media or whether it's on the podcast. I try to give them the facts so that then they can do the so what, now what? Like, why should I maybe want to care?